guys, my name is Becca. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm here with my January wrap-up. I know it's the middle of February and I'm just now sitting down to film this video. I don't know what to say other than it's not that I've been dreading making this video, but for prior wrap-ups I have been. All my wrap-ups of 2019, I always felt like it was hard to make those just because I don't know what it was. I just dread filming wrap-ups. They always just seem the hardest to get through and the hardest to find the motivation to sit down and film. I will say though that wasn't the case for this one. I wanted to film this video just because I have changed how I'm going to be filming my wrap-ups, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a second. But I always felt that, or when I started to sit down to film this video, I kept getting interrupted. It didn't matter what it was. I just couldn't sit down and just film this video. With all my other videos that I need to film and get up prior to this, those went fine. But this one in particular, somehow, I always got interrupted or something came up and I just couldn't film it. So here we are when I actually really need to film this video. And we're just gonna sit down and do it. So like I said, I am changing the way I'm filming my wrap-ups again. I know I keep doing that just because I want to find what works for me. I don't want to feel that I'm dreading making these videos. I really don't. This is fun. BookTube is always fun to be a part of and to film these videos. I feel like this should just be fun and I shouldn't be dreading anything. And so I contemplated whether or not I should just stop altogether. Not stop making videos, but stop making wrap-ups in general. And I thought about it. And I make weekly reading updates, so you always pretty much know what I'm reading. But I always liked having one video where I had all the books that I read in the month, and I could just go to that one video and find out. So the one thing I always wanted to do with my wrap-ups was to rank them. I always wanted to go from my least favorite to my favorite, but I always felt like I shouldn't do that because there are times where I'll read multiple books in a series and I'll give the later book a lower star than the first two, the first books or so. And I don't like talking about the last book or a later book in the series before talking about the first few books. That's just how my brain works. I don't like it. And so I didn't do it. I think I tried once. I think there was a wrap-up where I tried one time, and I didn't like it. I just didn't like that part of it. Everything else I was really enjoying, but I didn't like that. So I never did it again, and I decided to change it up. Either talk about the books from when I started to when I finished, or first books that I read in the month to the end, or categorize them like I have been doing, but I'm just not satisfied, and so I decided to change it again. It's really in thanks to Gavin from Gavin Hetherington, or How to Train Your Gavin. He, I think, felt the same almost as me, where he was starting to dread making wrap-ups just because those are the hardest ones to film, and he started to rank them, and that's really why I've wanted to do that. It really gave me the push to do it, so here we are. I did write down some stats. I like having my handy dandy notebook. I like being able to write everything down on a piece of paper and have it. For some reason, when I put it in my phone or put it in my iPad, I'll forget completely. But knowing that I have a notebook, it almost helps me to remember that, to actually write all this stuff down. It works for a while. So I just like having this here. I like having it on paper. So that's how we're going to do it. And I really just have a wrap-up page and then a book haul page, and that's it. It really helps. So for my stats, in the month of January, I read 16 books, which is pretty good. And it was a total page count of 5,320. For the ratings, I gave 2 2-stars, 2 3-stars, 7 4-stars, and 5 5-stars, with an average rating of 3.94, which I thought was pretty good. I think that's it's almost a 4-star average rating, which is pretty damn good. The lowest number of pages in one book I read was 55, and the highest in one book was 556. Not bad. I did want to track down, or I wanted to track where I source these books, just because I want to know that I'm balancing my own TBR versus like the library books and everything that I'm, also my Kindle. Like, I just want to have a good balance of it. I don't know if that actually worked this time, which it didn't, but I did try. So I had 2 e-arcs that I requested from NetGalley. 8 were from my own physical TBR prior to 2020. 1 was from my own physical TBR that I hauled in 2020. 1 was from my Kindle that I've had. 1 was from the library, and 3 were from Kindle Unlimited that I just picked up. So that's all the stats. And now we're going to rank the books that I read from number 16 to number 1. So we'll start with the 2-star books. Oh, man. And the first book was an e-arc, and that is My Best Friend's Royal Wedding by Rummy Summer. And this is literally about our main character, who is the bridesmaid in her best friend's royal wedding. And her and the best man meet, they don't get along, and then it's like a romance just, comes about. That's really all it is about, is just our main character finding out that her best friend is marrying a prince, or our main character is the bridesmaid in her best friend's royal wedding. I think, I don't even know where this is set. I don't remember. To be honest, this was just really lackluster. There's so many times where I felt like we were referencing another book, and to find out we were. I was really upset about that, just because I didn't know about it. When I requested this from NetGalley, looking back at it, it didn't say anything about a prior book. It didn't say that this was a spin-off of anything. But there were so many inside jokes and so many things that it was just referencing to. And I'm just like, what the hell are you talking about? What is going on? The writing was just not that great. The structuring of this. Now, I get it was an e-arc, so I'm not basing my rating on that. But I had a hard time getting through this book. I really badly wanted to DNF it. But because I requested from NetGalley, I didn't. I didn't like the characters at all. The romance between our bridesmaid and best man was just like, what the hell? I don't understand where that came from. Technically, they met a year before before this. Our main character, I believe, she worked in a club. I don't remember what she was, if she was a waitress or a hostess or... Oh, man. I don't really remember. But she met this guy, and he kind of propositions her. I can't even tell if I'm saying that right. And she just does not like him right off the bat. And then, of course, they meet for this wedding, and she just hates him and hates him and hates him. And then, oh, look, she likes him now. And it's just like... I didn't really feel like there was much of a transition there. It just was, a snap of your fingers, and boom, they like each other, and they are attracted to each other, and they want each other, and it's like, okay. So I had to give it 2 stars. I just was not enjoying it in the slightest. And then the only other 2-star book I had was slightly better than My Best Friend's Royal Wedding, is Sacrifice to the Beast by Jessica Kane. This one, I gave it 2 stars only because it's kind of, it's weird. This is a short, smutty book. I think this was the 55-page. Yeah, this is the 55-page book. So this is the shortest book I read this month. And this one, we follow our main character who lives in this village. Don't really know where this is set. I just know she lives in this village. And the village is being terrorized by a beast. And they're like, we need to sacrifice a girl to this beast, give him what he wants. And, you know, it worked in the past, we're going to do it now. And so our main character is being just sacrificed. She's being left in the woods, tied up to a tree, and waiting for this beast to come and devour her. And we come to find out that the beast is this caveman who has just been living on his own in the woods in a cave. And he finds her tied up, and he is absolutely appalled at the village, at her people and what they did to her. I mean, her father was like, yeah, tie her up to the tree. Like, really? And so he ends up taking her back to the cave. One thing leads to another, and of course, sex ensues. I was ready for this to be weird and quirky and fun, and for the most part, it kind of was. The one thing that completely threw me was the fact that this is set in modern day, and like there's technology and like it's like a cell phone and stuff, like there's technology, and I'm just like, what? I don't know, like, I get it, but then I don't. Like, I'm just, this is set in modern day. It would have been a little bit better if this was set in like a fantasy world or in the past, but it's not, and it's weird, and so it's more of a 2.5 star. I liked it better than My Best Friend's Royal Wedding, but it was still kind of weird. Alright, now we're on to my 3-star books, which we have another E-arc, and that is Nameless Queen by Rebecca McLaughlin. And I requested this because I saw the synopsis, and it's about we have a nameless girl. So in this world we have we have the monarch, who is of course a royal, and then we have the royals, which are like the elite. They're either part of the royal family or they're just really high up in the they're like noblemen or noblewomen. And then we have the nameless. And the nameless are really just children left abandoned to fend for themselves. And they're treated awfully. Like, they're just abandoned, and then the people just, I mean, some of them just get killed in the street for nothing. They're just treated horribly. And our main character is named Coin. She named herself because she was nameless. And she, of course, cons and steals to survive. And one day she realizes that the king is dead, and in order for the next royal to be found, the monarch must say a name before death, before they die. And whoever, whatever name they say, that person will get a crown tattoo on her shoulder. And our main character finds that tattoo on her shoulder right after the monarch died. And, we're all wondering, how does he know your name if you're nameless? So there's that whole mystery there, and there's a whole lot of court politics because she does get found out and she does get sent to the palace. And there's this whole duel because the royals don't like the fact that she's their next monarch, so they want to duel her and take it from her, because apparently you can. And it was fine. Like, this was okay. I didn't really have that much of an issue with it. It just was a little complex here and there, so I was really trying to learn more about the world, and I just don't feel like I got enough. I mean, it wasn't horrible by any means. I did enjoy most of it. I enjoyed the relationships more. Not romance. There's no romance in this that I know of, that I remember. I don't think there is, which I think was a drawback for me, just because I do really like romance in my books. But it didn't really need it. I was just like waiting for it to come, and it never did. But I did love the relationship between Glenn Quartz and Coin, our main character. Glenn Quartz is her guard, and he has to watch over her, and they have this sort of father-daughter relationship that I just absolutely love. I love found family tropes. It's just so beautiful, and I love it. And I did enjoy the familial bonds that came throughout this book. The rest of the characters didn't really care about. There's another mystery that the nameless are being taken off the streets and never seen again. So you're wondering what the hell is happening to these other nameless. And like, why is this happening, and who's doing it, and all that. So there are some mysteries that, were kind of enjoyable to learn about and to figure it out. I will say it's all revealed in this book. Kind of. There is going to be another book, so there is a little bit more of a mystery, I guess, for the next book. But yeah, I didn't find the ending to be anything spectacular. That's really why I gave it 3 stars. It wasn't amazing, but I mean, it was fine, and I liked it, but I don't know if I'm really going to continue on. We'll see how it goes. And then the only other 3-star book was The Loner's Lady by Jessica Cain. This was my first Jessica Cain book, and I picked this one up because I can't remember who it was. I want to say it was Chelsea from Chelsea Dowling Reads, but I could be wrong. Could be Riley from Riley Marine. No, I don't know. It was on somebody's Smudathon, TBR, and I mean, it sounded pretty good. It's really about our main character is her best friend's beard. So her best friend, I can't remember his name, but he's gay, and he is visiting his father, and he wants to take her with. His father doesn't know he's gay, so he wants her to act as his girlfriend. And all is good until they get there, and she meets the father and is instantly attracted to him, and he is instantly attracted to her. And there is nothing that can stop them, and that's really all this is about. It was fine. It was good. I mean, it was kind of what I needed. It was fun and smutty, and I mean, it was fine. The only reason I gave Sacrifice to the Beast more like 2.5 stars, but it was just because that one was just weird. Like, it was set in modern day. I don't like that. But The Loner's Lady was pretty good. So for those books, because they're so short too, Loner's Lady I think was 60 pages. So they're so short. I don't ever think that you should spend your money on them unless you absolutely want to, and that's your choice. But I don't really recommend buying them. If you have Kindle Unlimited and they're free, I mean, obviously go for it. Or if they're, there to access from your library, go for it. But if it's something you're interested in anyway. But I don't recommend them as ones to be bought, just because they're so short and they're not amazing or anything. They're fine. But yeah. So now we're on to the 4-star books. And finally, I have, some books to actually show you. For the first 2 4-star books, they're actually part of a series, and they're manga, and that's Happy Marriage volumes 4 and 5. It's really about a CEO and his employee having a marriage of convenience, falling in love type manga. I've actually been enjoying these. These are two of my favorites, I think. They're finally getting to the actual romance part. The first few volumes were like setting it up, them learning to deal with the other, and, you know, like coming to terms with the fact that they're going to stay married, and do they even really like each other? And then here we are with them kind of falling in love with each other, and I'm really enjoying them. And there's 5 more volumes to read. I have them all, so I have to definitely pick up more. So I'm really glad I picked up 4 and 5. And then we have Blitzed by Alexa Martin. This is the 3rd book. Is it the Intercepted series? I don't even know what the series name is. The first book is Intercepted, the second book is Fumbled, and then we have Blitzed. And it's just a football romance centered around the Denver Mustangs team, and it's each player's romance with somebody else. And this one we have Maxwell, and I don't know his position, don't ask me, and Bryn, who owns like the local hangout called Hers. And Maxwell and Bryn have had feelings for each other for years now, and they're finally owning up to it and starting a relationship. I enjoyed this. I gave this 4 stars, obviously. I enjoyed it. I know some people didn't really enjoy. I think they were enjoying it up until the end, or like towards the end, and I think I know why, but it didn't really bother me as much, so I gave it 4 stars. But I have seen some people give it like 3 stars, and I get it, like, this is not for everybody, but I have enjoyed all the books I've read. I will say I think Intercepted is still my favorite, and I don't like sports. I really don't like sports, but I love sports romances. Those really work for me. I like movies and books, but I don't watch actual sports. So, yeah. But I mean, this was good. I really enjoyed it. And, I mean, these are books that I would own. I think I owned Intercepted for a while, and I ended up unhauling it just because they're good and I really enjoy them, but I wouldn't really pick them up any after that. I might go back to Intercepted and reread it again just because I know I like that one a little bit more, but that's something I could get from the library. I don't need to own them. But yeah, I did enjoy this. 4 stars. There we go. Alright, next one is Adorkable by Cookie O'Gorman. This one is a young adult contemporary, which is funny because I haven't really been shying away too much, but I have noticed that I'm not really connecting with them a whole lot anymore. But this one was cute. It was quirky. It was fun. This one is about our main character, Sally Spitz, who her best friend and her mom keep setting her up on these blind dates, and she's sick of it, and she begs them to stop, and they just won't. So she goes to her other best friend, Bex, to be her fake boyfriend, even though she has a huge crush on him. And she really shouldn't do this because it'll just set her heart up for failure, but she needs somebody to be her fake boyfriend, and Bex is really the only one who can do it. And it just goes from there. It's just really cute. It is set in high school, but I didn't really mind it too much, not like with some other books where I feel like I just don't jive well with, high school centered books, because I haven't been, it's been 10 years since I graduated high school. And yeah, so we have Bex giving her lessons. Like, I really do like that. Oh man, I love the whole lessons thing, like PDA lessons. It's cute. So and this is really fandom based as well. Like, we have some Star Wars, there was others that I can't think of. Oh, Harry Potter. Harry Potter and Star Wars are definitely centered around this, and I really did love it. And what I really liked about this copy, if you do get the print copy, this comes with it's a chapter in Bex's point of view for the very end. So what happens in the end, you'll get Bex's point of view, and I really, really like that. I like knowing what Bex was thinking, and I thought it was really cute and really good, and I gave it 4 stars. Alright, next up we have The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. Okay, so this was set up to be a 5-star book for me. From the very beginning, I was absolutely loving it. I loved the writing style, the lyrical writing was just gorgeous. The characters were really great. I loved, so this is a book within a book, and we follow our main character, Zachary, who finds this book in his campus library, and it's mysterious and old, and there's like, I think there's no author name or anything, it's just called Sweet Sorrows, and he starts to read it, and there's like these fairy tale-esque chapters, and then it starts to talk about him and his childhood. And it's a mystery because, I mean, this was written before he was even born, and it should know about him, and it just kind of goes from there. We get portals into other worlds, or doors into other worlds, and it's just, or it's more like doors into other times, I want to say. Not really worlds, but times. And it was complex and really beautiful, and I really was enjoying it up until like the 75% mark, where everything just started to lose me. Everything was just so convoluted by that point. And it just started to go off, and I'm like, what the hell is happening? What is going on? I don't understand this at all. What? I will say I might want to reread this. I was listening to the audiobook, which I really enjoyed the audiobook. It is a full cast narration, and you know, with Zachary's chapters, you'll get a narrator, and then with each different like story, because it switches off, you'll get a story and then Zachary and then a story, which is like that, and then you'll get you know, Zachary, and so there'll be a different narrator for those, and it was so good, but towards the end, everything just lost me. And like I said, I was listening to it on audiobook. I was following along through most of it. There was some times where I was in the car or something, and I was listening to it, but it was almost 5 stars, but I had to drop it down to 4 just because the ending didn't do it for me. I will say I really liked the romance. I didn't see it coming, and I think that's why I liked it. I just never saw it coming. It could be because I was listening to the audiobook. Some people say, I think, that it just happened out of nowhere, but I think there were a little, like, some hints throughout the beginning that showed you that they were going to fall in love, and I'm going to reread it again and see for myself. But yeah, 4 stars. And then, oh man, we have The Rogue King by Abigail Owen. This one is about dragon shifters, and our main character, who's a phoenix shifter. Our main character is coveted by all the dragons. Pretty much, whichever dragon king marries and, you know, takes this phoenix for his own will become the high king of all dragons. And our main character's mother was hunted down because of this, by one of the kings that wanted to be high king, and she was killed in the process of that, and so now our main character is on the run because she is the next phoenix, And our main character, or not our main character, but our love interest, Brand, is a rogue dragon, and he wants to take her to this other king that he trusts and believes that should be High King. And so it's just this journey of them getting there. She also has visions of him, which is like one of my favorite tropes. I really love when they have visions of each other, or one will have visions of the other before they actually even meet. I don't know why, I just love that. I don't feel like it's overdone, but I am finding I'm reading a lot of those, which I think you'll see in February. There is one. But I really was enjoying it. I like the romance between them. I can't wait for the next book, which will follow a different romance. And yeah, I really liked Abigail Owen's writing, and I really like this world and everything. So I am looking forward to continuing on. Okay, lastly for the 4 stars, we have Archangels Storm. This one is the 5th book. Yeah, this is the 5th book in the Guild Hunter series. This one follows Jason, who is Raphael's spy master. The first 3 books will follow Raphael and Elena, and then the 4th book follows Dimitri and Honor. Dimitri is Raphael's second, pretty much, and then Jason is the spy master. And I've enjoyed this series. I've enjoyed everything I've read from the series. Sorry. And I did not know if I would like Jason's book. I didn't know if I would like Dimitri's book, and I really like that. Also had one of my favorite tropes, which I'm not going to talk about. But, so what's going on is that the Archangel of India, her consort was just murdered, and she doesn't trust anybody in her court because any one of them could have done it. So Jason needs to go there and figure out who did it and what's actually going on over there. But Neha, who is the Archangel of India, won't let him in unless he ties himself through her bloodline, which is through the Princess Mahia. And so he has to tie himself to her in order to be allowed into this court. And then, of course, a romance ensues between the two. I enjoyed it. I think, I gave it 4 stars, obviously. I gave it 4 stars. This isn't a 5-star book. I enjoy Raphael and Elena's relationship more than anyone else. And you do get some of Raphael, Elena, and Dimitri and Honor. So you do get some of, like, everybody, but I mean, I really enjoyed it, obviously. I gave it 4 stars. Like I said, it's not my favorite, but I am enjoying the series a lot. And we are, I think, going back into Raphael and Elena, the next book. So I'm really excited for that. And I liked Mahia's backstory, and I liked her relationship with Jason. And it doesn't happen right away. Like, you don't even really see the attraction that they have for each other until you realize that Jason is sort of different when he's with her. So there's that. And yeah, I really liked it. 4 stars. Alright, now we're in our 5-star books. And first up we have The Guardian by Sherilyn Kenyon. This is the next book in the Dark Hunter series. This is more Dream Hunter based, I think. We follow Lydia and Seth. Lydia is a Dream Hunter who is venturing into this Hell realm to rescue her friend Solon, I want to say his name is. And Seth is his tormentor. Seth is the one torturing Solon in order to find the key into Olympus so they can go and, destroy the Greek pantheon. And then Lydia, of course, ventures into this hell realm to save him, gets captured by Seth, and since Seth knows how much Lydia means to Solon, he throws her into his prison. Why can't I talk? And tells Seth that he has so long to get this key before he kills Lydia. That's pretty much it. Seth himself is a prisoner. He doesn't want to do what he's doing, but he has no choice. We'll say that. So it's not like, it is a like a romance between Seth and Lydia. So it's not like, you know, he is this awful person or this, you know, horrible monster and like she falls for that. He doesn't want to do what he's doing. He has no choice. So we'll say that. I really enjoyed it. Obviously, I gave it 5 stars. I love the Dark Hunter series. Did not know if I would enjoy this because I do believe once Retribution hit, that was when I wasn't rereading them anymore. I was starting to actually read books I haven't read. And I was afraid because I remember telling myself everything was going to go downhill after, I can't remember what book was before. I think it was after No Mercy. I think I tried reading Retribution, or I tried reading this one, and I just was not enjoying them. And so I stopped. And so now here we are, and I'm really loving them. I think I gave Retribution 5 stars. I'm really loving them now, so there we go. And then, of course, Lover Avenged is the next one. Oh my god, this is a Black Dagger Brotherhood series. Or my god, why can't I talk right now? This is, I think this is 7? Yeah, this is 7 in the Black Dagger Brotherhood series. And this one follows Revenge and Elena. And Revenge is a character I didn't know if I would actually like. And I didn't know if I would even care about his romance. But I was addicted to this book, and I couldn't put it down. And I remember I had a copy from the library that I got on my phone. It was from the Libby app, and I was reading it, and then I had to go back. And I was so upset that I just ordered myself the book and had it come, you know, in a couple of days. And I was like, I need that book right now. I need to finish that book. I love it so much. And it still took me a little while just because I wanted to savor the relationship between them. And I think I had a lot going on around that time. But I knew I wanted to get back into it. I was just really, really liking their story and what was going on. And so there we have it. Obviously, it got 5 stars. And I just love this series. Oh, man. Okay, so now we have to go back into my iPad. Alright, we have the last couple of books. And then, you know, that's it. We have like 3 more books to talk about, and we're done. So, this is, what, number 14? No, I mean, this is number 3. Yeah, obviously. This is number 3. So, these are my top 3 favorite books of January. So, for number 3, we have Marriage for One by Ella Mays. And this is the first book I read that was a BookTuber 2019 favorite. Like, this is one of their favorite books of 2019. This one I read because of Jess from Peace Out Books. She absolutely loved it. I know Riley from Riley Marie loved it. And I picked it out for the first book to read in January. And for 2020, this new thing that I'm doing. And I mean, I just wanted to know if this was a favorite of theirs, would this be a favorite of mine? And I have to say, it completely was. I absolutely love this book. When I first started reading it, I didn't know if I would. This is a marriage of convenience. This is all about our main character, Rose, who has spent a lot of money on this property just to find out that she's not getting this property. She was, I think, supposed to inherit this property after her uncle, I want to say, died. But he put it in his will that her husband would get the property instead of just her. And of course, her and her fiance, I think her fiance dumped her, or, well, she's not getting married. So now she doesn't have a husband to take the property, and now she's not going to get it. But Jack, who is a lawyer, yeah, their names are Jack and Rose. It's a little weird. But Jack is a lawyer that knows about this and propositions her and just is like, look, let's get married and then we'll both get what we want. Though you don't really know what Jack really wants. Like, he says he wants the property, but you're just like, what exactly do you want? I don't really understand. So Jack's not like the nicest of people. He doesn't really show his emotions well. And it really just comes across as him being an asshole. a lot of the time. But once you get to a certain point, you can see, like, it alternates chapters. So you'll get Rose's chapters and then Jack's. So you'll get from both of their point of views, and that was perfect. You needed to know what Jack was thinking. You needed to know what was going on through his mind and what he was feeling and everything, or this wouldn't have worked. If it was just Rose's point of view, I don't think I would have believed anything that Jack says. But getting his point of view and finding out from, through his eyes, it works so well. I love this book so much. I love their relationship. Their romance is just so freaking cute. The struggles that they go through because of Jack's not really, he doesn't really show his emotions well. And again, like, it can come across as him being an asshole or him just not caring. But man, does he care? I love this. Obviously, this is number 3. So I'm going to stop saying I love this because you guys know I do. And then the very first book I read for 2020 and for the month of January was my number 2, and that was Bad for You by J. Daniels. And this is book 3 in, the Dirty Deeds series. There's 4 books in the series, and I've loved all the books. I read number 3 in January, and it was just so amazing. This is Stitch and Shay's story. It's their relationship, their romance. Shay is, she works, this is all centered around this diner, or this restaurant that they work at. And Shay is a waitress, and Stitch is a cook. And for the first couple of books, you're like, will they, won't they? And then Stitch, Shay asks Stitch out, kind of, and Stitch he accepts, and then he walks away. And, like, he just ditches her, and she, obviously doesn't take that well. So, this is after that happened, and Shay's has to take in her 2 younger brothers because her parents have to go and settle some things out with, I think, her grandparents. And she's struggling a lot with balancing their schedules and her schedule, and she's just not getting it, and she's struggling, and it's hard. And Stitch starts to see that, and he worms his way in and helps her out with that. And it's just the sweetest thing. Again, like, you get Stitch's point of view as well as Shay's, so you understand why Stitch does what he does, so why he ditched her, and, like, why he felt like he needed to ditch her, and why, why he's doing this for her. And it's just, I loved it, obviously. Like, I can't stop saying that. It's just, I love them. I have to say, I think, like, J. Daniels is, like, I've given, I think, every one of J. Daniels' books that I've read 5 stars. I absolutely love them. They're just amazing. I am addicted to them. I love her characters, and I love her books and her writing, and it's just so damn good. So that's why it's at the number 2 spot. But the number 1 spot had to go to the other book that I read for the 2019 Booktuber favorites. Did not see this coming at all, but that is Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. I've tried reading a Brandon Sanderson book before. DNF'd it. Did not care for it whatsoever. Didn't think I would ever read another Brandon Sanderson book. And then just, this was nonstop talked about. And this is on, like, everyone's favorite lists from 2018 and 2019. So I was like, I have to put it in there and see if it would be a pick. And I picked it, of course, for the first month, and I was just like, I really don't want to read this. And I tried getting it from the library, and I couldn't. There was no available copies anywhere. It wasn't available in Scribd. There was just nothing available, and I needed to read it for the month. So I ended up just ordering a copy from, Book Depository, because I wanted this copy. If I was going to read this copy, if I was going to read this book and spend the money, I was going to get this copy. And I freaking loved it. Like, what? I loved the characters. This is, I don't even know how to really describe this book. We follow Spensa, who her father was a pilot in, oh God. It's been so long now since I've read it. But her father was a pilot, for the... Her father was a pilot. And, I mean, this is set in space. It's set on a different planet. And her father, during one of their major battles, deserted. And was killed. So everyone sees him as this traitor and deserter. And they, just because Spensa was his daughter, sees her as that as well. So she wants to become a pilot. It's all she's ever wanted, was to become a pilot and to kill the Krell, which is the alien race that is trying to kill them. And all she's ever wanted was that, but they just won't give her a chance. Until one day her father's former partner, I don't remember how to say it. It's been a while. But yeah, her father's former partner comes and he gives her a chance because he's one of the teachers, and he's like, you can come into my class. I'll teach you. Doesn't mean you'll get a ship, but at least you'll be taught, and hopefully you'll be able to prove them wrong. And that's just really how it goes. She's still treated awfully, even though she's a part of this class. She doesn't feel like she's one of them. She doesn't feel like she belongs, just because she's pretty much an outcast. She can't even stay at the academy or whatever. She can't stay there. She has to go back. She has to keep commuting back and forth. I think she ends up living in a cave or something along those lines. And like, she's not able to eat at the cafeteria. Like, she has to get her own food. It is just awful, and I hate them for it so much. You start to understand why, but then it's just like, I hate it so much. The mystery aspects of this was great. I don't like sci-fi, but I love this book. Like, some of the science stuff just went over my head, and I was just like, nah. But the characters and the writing and the world, everything was just so amazing, and I loved it. And yeah, this is my #1 book of January. I didn't see that coming. So that's it for me today, guys. I know this is a really long video, and I'm sorry, but I had to talk about the book. So that's it for me today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you with another video. Bye. Happy reading.